Driven people become more driven when they have adversity. They become more driven when they have success. They want more. They know exactly where they want to go, exactly how they're going to get there, exactly who they want to go on that journey with, other driven people. They know what they need to do each and every day to achieve what they want to achieve. We built a room full of driven guys. That's why you're here.
It's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones alongside Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett here inside the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studios at the Star in Frisco. It's the Cowboys and the Redskins. It's a noon kickoff Dallas time on Sunday after a big win over the Giants to open the season. And you know, Jason, whenever you go to Washington, it always seems like it's a tight fit, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these division games all around the NFL, they're always so competitive. There's always a battle to win, and no different for us and the Redskins through the years.
How big was it last year to do what you did offensively? Of course, Dak Prescott was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He is not a guy who is lacking in confidence normally, but what does that do for the team having a positive performance like that offensively in the first week?
Oh, I think you just want to start off the season on the right foot in all phases of your team, and to get a win in week one is big. I thought we did a lot of really good things in all three phases of our team. There's plenty of things we got to clean up in all three phases, and our players know that. We went back to work this week and excited about this opportunity against the Redskins.
What was the thing that impressed you the most about Dak in that game?
Well, I think the combination of efficiency and explosiveness in the passing game. I thought he made really good decisions throughout the game, made a lot of little plays in the game, and then when he had opportunities to cash in on some big plays, he made some big-time throws. And the guys around him were outstanding. The protection was off the charts. He was very comfortable in the pocket really throughout the game, and I thought the guys on the other end, the receivers, the tight ends, and the backs, quarterback friendly throughout, and made a lot of plays for him.
Special moment in that game as Jason Witten found the end zone for the 69th time in his career. Considering where Jason had gone to the broadcast booth and coming back, you seemed pretty excited on the sideline when Jason
came. I think everybody was. I mean, he goes into the end zone and you can almost see the smile through the back of his helmet, you know. He was so fired up, and everybody was fired up for him. He's been such a great player for us for so long, and he's been outstanding since he's been back, in shape, ready to go, great off-season. Great training camp. It was good to see him get off on the right foot.
And then Randall Cobb. Here's a guy who has accomplished so much in his career, and to see him in that position with a new team, and his competitiveness was on display in that first game.
It sure was, and I tell him all the time, we've been trying to guard you for years, and we're so glad that he's on our side. And you said it, the competitive spirit was all over the place. A big third down conversion on that second drive, running inside, catching the ball in traffic. The run after the catch down in the red zone where he just punches the guy right in the chest and makes 10 more yards. He just made a number of plays throughout the ball game, and he plays with the absolute right spirit, the kind of guy you want on your football team.
And, of course, the run game is a staple on this team, and especially will be on the road playing at Washington. But what you saw from Zeke Elliott in the run game last week, and basically just 4 or 5 days after reporting for duty and then going forward this week, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I thought Zeke handled the game really well. And, he had a really good offseason for us, but he wasn't in training camp. So he only had 3 days of practice prior to this game, and he did a good job in practice last week. I think he got himself ready for that kind of a workload, and I thought for the most part played pretty well. We do expect him to get better and better and better as he goes. The more he practices and the more he plays.
All right, we're just getting started here on this edition of the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
It just keeps the defense on their toes. It shows us different looks. It shows us, what defense the defense is in, and it's just a good way to mix things up.
In motion, and the hands of Elliott, breaks through on the left side to the goal line. He powers in. Touchdown, Elliott.
The Jason Garrett Show is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing, that's our thing. Ford is the best in Texas. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Well, I think it opens up everything for all of us. The most important thing for us is to continue to feed off each other and make plays whenever we get opportunities.
Rush forward, over the middle, caught by the Cowboys at the 45-yard line, Randall Cobb. Well, what a nice move by Cobb out of the slot.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. You can find his fine work at sportsdaydfw.com. And Dave, we're going to do a little something different as we're going to go take a trip to Twitter. We got some questions for
so I don't have to answer your questions anymore, is what you're saying.
We have much more intelligent questions this week. And the first one comes from Sammy Evans, who asked, do you expect the offense to continue to look as powerful in the passing game?
I don't know that you'll see your starting quarterback have another perfect game. Where do you go once you have a perfect game? It seems to me there's only one way. But no, I think the fabric and the elements that you saw in place in this first game, you'll continue to see throughout the season. You'll see the bunch formations with the receivers. You'll see the motion. Even plays like Ezekiel Elliott's touchdown run was different than most runs you saw last year, in that you had Witten crossing one way, where it appeared it was going to be going outside to block, to lead around, and you had Tavon Austin coming the other way. So it's just dressing things up differently to get to where they've always been. A lot of offensive moments you can point to, but they had 21 points in the first half in that game against the Giants. In the first three games, in the first half of the first three games last year, they didn't score 21 points. So this team is off to a much better start offensively.
All right, question number 2. Why are we not crediting Jon Kitna more when it comes to Dak's success in Week 1? He looked much more calm. His footwork and pocket presence, so much better than last year. I feel like Kitna has a huge part to do with this. That from Jared Kitna. No, it wasn't Kitna.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Jared.
and that's a valid point. To me, it's understandable why the focus is on Dak's performance, because it was historic in many ways, and also Kellen Moore in his debut. But Jon Kitna, what he has done with his footwork, and he mentioned it, that's the key, the footwork. He got that from Mike Martz, and he feels it really took, Jon Kitna feels it took his career to another level when he worked under Martz. And the whole thing was, you work as a quarterback from the ground up. Set your feet, get your lower body in motion. That's going to allow you to make the throws you need. You saw him make outstanding throws all game. A lot of that has to do with the footwork he's worked on with Jon Kitna in the offseason.
Okay, question number 3 from Twitter. DC Blue Star on Twitter with the Redskins, the rivalry game this week. Do you have a little bit of that deep-rooted disdain for our rival teams? Do rival games have a little bit of a different feel for you, David Moore?
Me personally, no. I believe there's a different feel in the locker room, which is where it matters. And, it's not, and it always shifts. I think at different times, different teams in your division are viewed as your arch rival. Washington hasn't been particularly competitive here in recent years, where the Cowboys have won the division 3 of the last 5 years. That being said, I think you can argue that Washington's played Dallas harder over that period than the New York Giants have. So I think after Philadelphia, this is pretty intense. And everyone knows it's worth more games divisionally than outside of the division.
So in other words, you do not have an arch rival in that Washington press corps.
I do not.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. Up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, how about that Michael Gallup?
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
The Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues here at the Star in Frisco. And time to take a look at our featured player of the week, the leading receiver from last week, second-year man Michael Gallup.
How me and Dak made our connection so strong. I would definitely say just, feeling each other out, figuring out what we like, even, off the field things, hanging out, doing stuff off the field, just getting to know each other. And then also when we came back to work, we were just making sure that we were hammering what we needed to get done.
Caught over the shoulder at the 45-yard line by Michael Gallup.
Being patient in what I'm doing, figuring out what I'm doing, learning the playbook the way I need to, and then going and executing. We got a lot of weapons on this offense. Kellen Moore, he's putting everybody in different spots, utilizing, all of our talents differently, just making it fun for us. So I would definitely say we got weapons all around the board.
Elliott back in at running back on this possession, and a play fake to him and a slant. Oh, nifty catch, and off to the races comes Gallup.
I kind of had it in the back of my mind. We can all take it to the house on, any given play, whether it be a slant or a deep nine. It doesn't really matter. We're all pretty explosive, so I kind of had it in the back of my mind. I would probably say my slant that I had after my 9-ball I caught. It was just, right after I caught it, I just got back up there and got another slant. And, having plays like that back-to-back is pretty fun.
50, turns left to the 35, to the 30, across the 25-yard line before DeAndre Baker caught him. Mercy.
I don't think we did any trash talking. I think we let our play talk, for itself. And then none of the DBs over there were saying anything, which, really isn't that normal, but it's all good. We played the way we wanted to, so it's fun.
Michael Gallup, 7 catches of 158 yards last week against the Giants. The Jason Garrett Show continues in a moment. The coach returns, and we take an up-close look at these Redskins and those edge rushers with Will McClay. The Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now. Bill Jones now joined by Will McClay as we take an up-close look. We got the telestrator out at this Washington defense, and they've got some edge rushers that you have to worry about.
Yes, they do. We're going to take a look at Ryan Kerrigan, who's been an all-pro type guy. He's had 13 sacks the last 2 seasons. He's going to be here. We're looking at him against the Eagles. What they're going to do is they're going to edge rush, get off on the ball. You're going to see the speed of Sweat. And when we say speed, he gets the offensive lineman to turn in 2 steps, and then we'll see a smart rush by Kerrigan and show you how they work together. All right, we'll take a look at it here. All right, you'll see Sweat get off of the ball here. All right, the offensive lineman's already turned. Quarterback feels him. There's a smart rush by Kerrigan, gets the ball out before he needs to.
You got the veteran on one side, you got the rookie on the other side, and this Kerrigan, he's been doing it for years.
Yes. I want to show you, and what he is, when you talk about pass rush, you talk about get off, you talk about counter, you talk about moves. But what he is a very smart rusher. You'll see him rush the passer here. He's going to use his hands to get around the corner. The quarterback will step up. What you don't want to do is run behind the quarterback. He sees him go, he makes a nice move, counters back inside, and he gets a sack fumble. So you'll see here, he's going to get off on the ball, good hands, he gets him to turn his corner. Quarterback steps up, feels it. Now, pursuit, pursuit, pursuit. He reaches for the ball, sack fumble.
And then on the other side, here's a guy that Dak Prescott very familiar with because he watches Mississippi State football. The rookie out of Mississippi State, first-round draft pick Montez Sweat.
Freak of nature. He's 6'5", 260 pounds, 35-inch arms, and he runs a 4.45 40. All right, what you're doing now here is you're going to see a transition from run to pass. A lot of times you're seeing a lot of play action. This defensive end, here he is. He's going to go. He's going to be setting the edge for the run. Once he sees the pass, he transitions to a long arm, and with 35.6, it's a long arm. Wow. But then you'll see his 4.45 speed going after Matt Ryan. All right? They're going to show play action here. You're going to see him engage the tackle. Look, he's setting the edge. Now, pass, transition to it, long arm. See the close right there.
Yeah, you can see what he can do on that one side, and then you got Kerrigan on the other side. It's a handful for the Cowboys offensive linemen. Let's hear what they have to say about these defenders for Washington.
I tell people when they ask me about this game that 90% of it is confidence. And so everybody at this level is very skilled. You know, the guy that you're going against is skilled too. But if you feel like you have the ability to do it, you know that you can put yourself in the right position to do it, you're in a lot better mindset to be able to go out and do it.
You know, they've obviously invested a lot in their front, and they've really bought into their system and play it very well. So, you know, they play their defense a little different than most teams. So it's a new look for us and something we have to prepare for.
Will McClay looking at those edge rushers for the Redskins. And Jason, when you look at this Redskins defense, what do you expect on Sunday? This is a defense, obviously they like Alabama players, which is a pretty good recipe for success, I'd say.
Yeah, and they like defensive linemen too. They've drafted a lot of them here in the first round over the last few years, and their front seven's outstanding. We've been going against Kerrigan forever, and he's just an outstanding football player. And you said it, a number of the Alabama guys they've drafted high. Big, strong, sturdy players inside. They can push the pocket as pass rushers and really can affect the game. Linebackers are fast, playmakers on the back end in their secondary, so they challenge you a lot of different ways.
And, of course, they got Landon Collins at safety. Now, on the offensive side, Case Keenum. I remember watching Case Keenum when he played at Wiley High School in Abilene and won a state championship about 15 years ago. And then he set all sorts of NCAA records at the University of Houston. Not prototype size, but you've seen his development over the years in the NFL has really been special.
I bet when you saw him in high school, you're seeing some of the same things you see now. He's got great moxie, great leadership. He's a sneaky good athlete with a good arm. He just makes a lot of plays. And, we talked about it earlier with Dak. You make little plays, you make big plays. And Case has been doing that really throughout his career, high school, college, and when he's had opportunities in the NFL. And anytime he's gotten a chance to be a starting quarterback in this league, he's really played pretty well. And a lot of good things for them in week one. Offensively, he was a big part of that. So, again, he challenged you a lot of different ways.
And Darius Geis is injured. Looks like Adrian Peterson will get the start at running back. And we all know what Adrian Peterson has done in his career. But even last year, he had his 8th 1,000-yard season last year.
Yeah, he's a great football player and has been. I think you probably saw him in high school as well.
At Palestine, yes.
Yeah, he's off the charts as a high school player, college player, and since he's been in the NFL. And he's been playing for a number of years now. I think this is year 12 for him, and he just is the same kind of guy. He's so difficult to bring down. He's one of the most competitive runners we go against. He's so physically gifted. He's strong, he's fast, he's explosive, but that competitive nature that he has is something else, and it leaps off the tape. So you better bring more than one guy to try to tackle him. We've been emphasizing that all week long, the importance of getting a lot of hats to the ball to get this guy to the ground.
And that was the same case last week with Saquon Barkley, and he was able to get out. So it's basically a team defensive thing, right?
No question. You have to be disciplined. You have to be in your gaps and set the edges, and you have to be fundamentally sound, but you also have to be physical. You have to sprint to the ball, and you have to tackle. 2 elite backs, week after week to start the season.
One thing that the Redskins have at wide receiver is a rookie, Terry McLaurin, out of Ohio State, who had he's got 4.3 speed, take the top off the defense. What about your secondary and what they need to do in this game?
Yeah, you said it. A big play guy. We studied him hard coming out of school and liked him a lot. And, that's his number one trait. He can run. And you saw it in week one, got on top of the defense in Philadelphia for a big play. And they have a number of players, both at the tight end position and at the receiver position, who are capable of making big plays. So we got to get around the quarterback. We got to affect the quarterback and do a great job covering on the back end.
All right, we have our Unsung Star of the Week when the Jason Garrett Show continues in a moment. Final couple of minutes of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy, and time for the Unsung Star of the Week. And how about we go special teams, and how about we go with a guy named C.J. Goodwin, who we saw him in the preseason making plays, and we saw it last week against the Giants, too. What do you think about C.J. Goodwin?
He is not unsung to us. Okay. And anybody who tries to go against him, we talk a lot about identity. You want to leap off the tape as a player, as a unit, and as a football team, and he's one of those guys who does. He just plays so fast. He's so disruptive. He's one of the elite flyers in the NFL. He's a great kickoff cover guy, and he just has made such a positive impact on our team since we picked him up last year. He's so disruptive, and again, the other day in the ball game, had a couple tackles, was our special teams player of the game, and he's just done an outstanding job for us.
And this offseason, just searching for those core special teams type players, how big of a priority was that?
Oh, it's big. And, in this day and age in the NFL, you only have so many dollars to go around. And, there's been a lot made of the guys we're signing and their contracts and all of that. But in order to build the kind of team you want to have to make some of these smaller decisions, if you will. Guys who maybe play a backup role in offense or defense, but are core teams guys for you, because it's such an important part of the game. And CJ is one of those guys. He's really done a fantastic job for us.
All right, good luck against the Redskins. We appreciate you joining us here for the Jason Garrett Show, and we will see you again next week when the Cowboys will be hosting the Miami Dolphins.
The Jason Garrett Show was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Very good.
Okay.
Good. All right. There you go.
Appreciate it.
Good.